Welcome to one of our midweek occasional posts here from St George's Church in Glasgow. I'm the Reverend Gary Simmons. I've entitled this The Gift of Tears. Tears can flow at any time. I confess to a little moisture around the eyes from time to time when moved by something I watch, whether on Coronation Street, Toy Story or The Good Doctor. Tears of emotion. Though I'm less enamoured when a contestant on Strictly or The Bake Off starts shedding the water. I've enjoyed playing cricket over many years, mainly as a batsman. So there have been a few occasions as the ball raps into my body and, as they say, brings a tear to the eye. Tears of pain. But also tears of laughter, prompted by a great joke or a piece of classic TV. And tears of joy at the birth of a child, passing an exam, a loved one marrying, being offered that job. Laughter and joy are good for the soul. End of season football matches bring tears of joy and despair, as promotions are celebrated and relegations are finalised, and the camera pans to that 9-year-old crying their heart out. Music too, particularly, seems to have the power to bring forth tears. Through its simple beauty, maybe causing remembrance of special place, time or person. Sometimes words that strike a chord with us. Music from classical to pop and worship song so often moves us. And of course, deeper tears of grief, of real pain and loss in our lives. That may be true for you right now. And they may sometimes surprise us when they come. At times we think we ought to be crying and we don't. And then something catches us unawares and we find ourselves sobbing. That's certainly happened to me. There isn't a set rule for grieving, though most agree that bottling up and suppressing emotion is not helpful long term. So thinking about the gift of tears, I've been reflecting on some of the times when tears or weeping are mentioned in the Bible. Here are just a few of them. The shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept as he came alongside Mary and Martha at the time of their brother Lazarus's death. The emotion of Jesus, a heart of compassion in the heart of God, who will weep with us. A picture from the Psalms has the idea of our tears being recorded on a scroll or gathered into a huge bucket. Speaking of God who sees our tears, knows our pain, and takes them into himself. Our tears are not unnoticed. In Luke, we have the story of a sinful woman, as she's described, despised by others, welcomed by Jesus, washing his feet with her tears. Tears as a response to unconditional love. Amazing grace. The prophets and others are frequently crying out to the Lord because of injustice, oppression of the poor, dishonour of God's name. So Joel has the Lord declaring, "Return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning." And a special bit, particularly for us priests. Let the priests who minister before the Lord weep between the temple porch and altar. Nehemiah, encountering a broken Jerusalem, we are told, records this: "When I heard these things, I sat down and wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed." We've been reminded in recent days, haven't we, of the continuing injustice bred by racism and the pain visited on many lives. And there are many other areas of great injustice in our world, in our nation. Where might God be causing righteous anger to rise up in us, not to violence, but to weeping and praying and action. I've just been reading through the accounts of St. Paul's ministry recorded in Acts. To the cluster of believers in Ephesus, as he is leaving them, he reminds them how he served the Lord with great humility and tears. How, for 3 years, I never stopped warning each of you night and day with tears. That speaks to me of a deep pastoral heart. People matter. And if we have a heart for people, a heart of compassion, then we will find ourselves crying for them at times. It's okay. Tears, then, as part of our human lives, sometimes painful, sometimes joyful, sometimes emotional, but not negative. Let me conclude with a final picture of hope from the final book in the Bible, Revelation. A picture of a new order, a new beginning, a new heaven and earth brought into being by the living God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. Our God, who weeps with us, our God who receives our tears, our God who will wipe away every tear. Don't dismiss the gift of tears in your life and mine, and may we find hope in our God this day. God bless you.